What if I told you that some of the healthiest looking meats in your refrigerator are technically processed meat, while some foods people assume are highly processed might not be? If you think processed meat only means hot dogs, bacon, and sausages, you may be in for a surprise. Millions of people use the term every day, but very few know what it actually means. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what counts as processed meat, why it matters, and why so many people have been getting it wrong for years. Welcome to Consumer's Choice Top 5, where we separate facts from myths so you can make smarter choices every time you shop, cook, or eat. If you enjoy learning the truth about everyday foods, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another food fact that could change the way you think about what's on your plate. As we go through this topic, let us know in the comments what food surprised you the most. Was there something you always thought was fresh but turns out to be processed? We'd love to hear your answer. Let's start with the biggest misconception. Many people think processed meat simply means unhealthy meat. That's not actually true. The word processed doesn't automatically mean something is bad for you. In food science, processing simply means a food has been changed from its original state in some way. That can include chopping, grinding, freezing, cooking, smoking, curing, fermenting, salting, or adding preservatives. When it comes to meat, the official definition is surprisingly simple. Processed meat is meat that has been preserved or changed through methods such as salting, curing, smoking, fermenting, or adding chemical preservatives to improve flavor or extend shelf life. In other words, it's not just about how the meat tastes. It's about what has been done to it after the animal was processed. Take bacon, for example. Before it reaches your breakfast plate, it's usually cured with salt and often smoked. Those extra steps make bacon a processed meat. The same goes for most ham, hot dogs, sausages, pepperoni, salami, corned beef, and many deli meats. They don't become processed simply because they're sliced or packaged. They're processed because they've been treated in ways that preserve them or change their flavor and texture. Now here's where many people get confused. Suppose you buy fresh chicken breasts from the supermarket. They're wrapped in plastic and sitting in the refrigerated section. Are they processed? Most people would probably say yes because they've been packaged. But in reality, fresh chicken that's simply cut, trimmed, chilled, or frozen is generally considered unprocessed or only minimally processed. Packaging alone doesn't make meat processed in the way health experts use the term. The same applies to a fresh steak, fresh pork chops, fresh lamb, or fresh fish. Even if they're cut into smaller portions and wrapped for sale, they're still considered fresh meat because they haven't been cured, smoked, or preserved with ingredients that change the meat itself. Think about it like this. Imagine buying a fresh apple. Washing it, slicing it, or putting it in a container doesn't suddenly turn it into heavily processed food. But if you turn that apple into sweetened apple pie filling with preservatives, you've taken it much further from its natural state. The same basic idea applies to meat. Here's another example. Ground beef often surprises people. Many assume it's processed because it's been ground up. But if it's simply beef that's been minced without added preservatives or curing ingredients, it's generally still considered fresh meat. Grinding changes its shape, but it doesn't necessarily make it processed in the way most people mean. Now let's talk about the different methods used to process meat because understanding these makes everything much easier. The first method is curing. Curing usually involves adding salt and sometimes nitrates or nitrites. This helps preserve the meat, gives it a distinctive flavor, and often creates that familiar pink color seen in foods like ham and bacon. The second method is smoking. Smoking exposes meat to smoke from burning wood. Originally, this helped preserve food before refrigeration became common. Today, smoking is also used to add rich, smoky flavors that many people love. The third method is salting. Salt removes moisture that bacteria need to grow, helping meat last longer. Salted meats have been eaten for centuries, especially before modern refrigerators existed. Another common method is fermentation. Certain sausages, such as salami, are fermented using beneficial bacteria that help develop flavor while preserving the meat. Then there are preservatives. Many processed meats contain ingredients that help prevent spoilage, maintain color, or improve shelf life. These ingredients don't necessarily make the food unsafe, but they are one reason these products are classified as processed meat. By now you're probably realizing that processed meat isn't defined by one specific food. It's defined by the methods used to prepare it. Here's a quick recap. Fresh steak, usually not processed. Fresh chicken breast, usually not processed. Fresh pork chops, usually not processed. Bacon, processed. Ham, processed. Hot dogs, processed. Pepperoni, processed. Once you understand the preservation methods, the definitions become much clearer. But here's another twist that catches people off guard. Not every processed meat looks obviously processed. Some deli turkey slices appear fresh and healthy, yet many are cured or contain preservatives, making them processed meat. Even smoked chicken or smoked turkey can fall into the processed category if smoking was used as a preservation method rather than simply as a cooking technique. This is one reason reading food labels can be so helpful. Ingredients like sodium nitrite, sodium nitrate, curing salt, or descriptions such as cured, smoked, or fermented often indicate that you're looking at processed meat. The label tells a much more complete story than appearance alone. Here's a question for you. Before watching this video, which food did you think was fresh but is actually processed, or which food did you think was processed but really isn't? Let everyone know in the comments because your answer might surprise other viewers too. Now let's clear up another common myth. Many people believe all processed meat is automatically unhealthy. The reality is more complicated. Nutrition depends on several factors, including portion size, how often you eat it, the ingredients used, and your overall diet. For example, someone who occasionally enjoys a slice of ham on a sandwich while eating plenty of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins has a very different eating pattern from someone who regularly eats large amounts of bacon, sausages, and hot dogs every day. It's usually the overall diet that matters most, not a single food by itself. Another thing to remember is that processed meat isn't a modern invention. Humans have been preserving meat for thousands of years. Long before refrigerators existed, people relied on salt, smoke, and drying techniques to keep meat from spoiling. Without these methods, many communities simply wouldn't have had enough food during long winters or difficult seasons. Today, those same preservation methods are still used, although modern technology has made them much more consistent and efficient. What started as a survival technique has become part of many cultures and cuisines around the world. Let's test your knowledge with a few examples. A fresh chicken breast seasoned with herbs and cooked at home. Processed meat? No. A package of smoked bacon. Processed meat? Yes. Fresh ground beef with no added preservatives. Processed meat? Generally no. A hot dog made with curing ingredients and preservatives. Processed meat? Yes. Fresh salmon fillets. Processed meat? No. Smoked salmon that's been cured with salt. Yes, that would generally be considered processed because preservation methods have been used. Notice something interesting? The answer isn't based on whether the food tastes good, whether it's expensive, or whether it's sold in a supermarket. It's based on how the meat has been prepared after it was harvested. This is also why two products that look almost identical may belong to different categories. A fresh roast turkey and sliced deli turkey may come from the same bird, but one may be fresh while the other has been cured or preserved. Reading the packaging helps you understand the difference. One phrase you'll often hear is minimally processed. This simply means the meat has undergone basic preparations such as cutting, trimming, grinding, chilling, or freezing without adding preservation methods that fundamentally change the product. These basic steps make meat easier to transport and cook, but they don't automatically move it into the processed meat category used by nutrition experts. So what's the biggest mistake people make? They confuse food processing with processed meat. Almost every food we eat undergoes some type of processing. Milk is pasteurized. Frozen vegetables are washed and frozen. Rice is cleaned and packaged. Bread is baked. Processing exists on a spectrum. The term processed meat refers to a specific category of preserved meat products, not simply any meat that's been handled by people. Once you understand that difference, shopping becomes much easier. Instead of guessing, you can read the label, look at the ingredients, and ask one simple question. Has this meat been cured, smoked, fermented, heavily salted, or preserved to extend its shelf life? If the answer is yes, it's probably processed meat. If it's simply fresh meat that's been cut and packaged, it generally isn't. So what's the final answer? Processed meat isn't defined by whether it's tasty, packaged, frozen, or sold in a supermarket. It's defined by the methods used to preserve it or change its flavor and shelf life. That's why bacon, ham, hot dogs, pepperoni, salami, corned beef, and many deli meats are considered processed, while fresh chicken, fresh beef, fresh pork, and fresh fish usually are not, even if they're packaged for sale. The next time someone says all packaged meat is processed, you'll know the real story, and the next time you're shopping, you'll understand exactly what those labels are telling you. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to Consumer's Choice Top 5, and share this video with someone who still thinks processed meat just means meat that comes in a package. You might save them from one of the biggest food misconceptions around. Now it's your turn. Which food surprised you the most? Was it bacon, deli turkey, smoked salmon, fresh ground beef, or something else entirely? Leave your answer in the comments below, and if there's another food myth you'd like us to uncover, let us know. It might just become our next video. Also, please check out our previous videos. Thanks for watching.